We thank God for his presence. So this morning, quickly, we are going to look at goal setting and planning. Goal setting and planning this morning. We're going to look at goal setting and planning. Yesterday night, me and my wife, we were watching one of these Nigerian films. And we couldn't complete the film because we had to go to bed. But in that film, at the beginning of the film, they showed a family, praying family, religious believers and all that. And the woman struggling, the son trying to get a job. And she asked me a question. She said, why are those people putting so much effort into the things of God and life is still like that for them? And I said, that's a good question. I gave a simple answer because if I continued that answer, I would have preached my message to her last night. So I told her, I said, there are two sides to Christ. We have the personality of Christ. We have the principle of Christ. The personality of Christ gives you righteousness, holiness. It takes you to heaven. But the principle of Christ makes you successful here on earth. It is the principle of Christ that the contemporaries of this world have borrowed to write motivational book, inspirational book, business book, investment books. All these are in the Bible. In fact, I can't remember the name right now, but I know I have it documented somewhere. There was an atheist that when he died, they had to go into his library. And in his library, on his reading table, they saw a very big Bible that he has underlined over and over and over and over again. And he's an atheist. Why? Because for him, he was speaking out the principles from the Bible and was applying it. In fact, even I know of a very successful someone in Nigeria today as we speak. I don't want to mention name. Every principle he talks about. One day we had the opportunity and we're discussing, and he said, Fred, everything is inside this Bible. I'm getting it from there. Everything I'm teaching is from there. But what am I trying to say in essence is that more like we are believers, more like we fast, more like we pray, we are in that period as we speak. It is also necessary for us to understand that the Lord can break protocols for us, but he will not change his principles. So it's a truth that we must understand as a believer. The earlier we understand that, the better for us. It will break protocols, but it will not change principle. Protocols require that when you want to travel out, you have to go to the embassy, you have to go and get your passport, then you have to go and get your visa. If you get to the passport office, you might see a long queue. If you get to the visa office, you might see a long queue. And it is possible that you have to be on that queue because that visa is necessary. But somebody can just walk by and say, oh, Fred, leave that queue, come with me. That is breaking the protocol. But it doesn't change the reality that there are some principles that we have to put in place. He said Isaac sowed in the land. It was a land that was dry. It means that that guy was coming daily to water that land maybe 3 times more than what he usually should have done. So God blessed his hard work. So it is important that we also understand that as believers, we must look at the principles of Jesus Christ. And whatever we're going to be talking about today in goal setting and planning, they were just simple principles of Jesus Christ. That's what I want us to understand. I have a slide there. Let's look at the book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 28. I read the NIV version. Luke, chapter 14, verse 28. It says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? Now, that is Christ talking. He said, if you intend to build a house, would you Not first sit down and say, let me count how much it's going to cost me for me to build this house. That is the person that we are to emulate. That is him talking. When he knew he was going to get on the assignment of propagating the gospel globally, he knew the first thing he needed to do was to choose those that are going to work with him on this project, to create a team. Unlike a lot of us that when we wake up, even at the beginning of the year, all we are expecting is that God will perform miracle for it to happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying miracle doesn't happen. Miracle does happen. But there is a place where you need to put in the artwork to make the miracle easy. Miracle of Elijah saying to the woman who has a small cake for her son, but she was doing something. She was picking stick to cook the small cake. If not, if she has stayed in her house and said, no, I don't need stick for me to cook it. Even if Elijah said that your flour will not dry, the flour will overflow, but the woman will sit there for a very long time. Because why? She needs wood and she needs fire to cook whatever she has in front of her. So the scripture is telling us, he said, suppose you want to build a tower, that is, you have a goal, this is what I want to achieve. He said, won't you first, he's asking you a question, won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? If you look at that scripture further, he said, so that when you start building, people won't laugh at you. That, oh, he started the building and he couldn't complete it. Now, don't get it wrong. The scripture is not saying you have to have everything you need to build that tower in your custody. No. But what he's simply trying to say, you must have an estimate of what you need. You must have an estimate of what you need. Even if you don't have everything, have an estimate of what is going to cost you so that you even have an idea of what you are looking for. Now, okay, the slide is not showing. I said something in the next slide. I said setting a goal is the first step in turning the invincible into the visible. Setting a goal is the first step in turning the invisible into visible. That is the first thing you have to do. There is nothing wrong. I always say this. There is nothing wrong with you building castle in the air. You can build castle in the air. It's okay. It's normal. You know, it's a myth when they tell us you can't build castle in the air. For heaven's sake, go ahead and build your castle in the air. But don't forget to put foundation under it. It's okay. You understand me? As long as you put the foundation, the castle will stand. So, whatever you want to create, as long as you can imagine it, anything you can imagine. You know, the book of Genesis 11 chapter 6, help us to understand it. He said, whatsoever they have thought of in their mind, nothing can stop it. You know, as long as you can imagine it, it's a matter of time. Time doesn't change who you are. Time magnifies who you are. So it's a matter of time. You will eventually get there. So the first thing is you have the invincible. But to make the invisible visible, what must you do? You must first have a goal that you have set. So setting a goal is the first step to making the invincible visible. Now the question is, what is a goal? Next slide, please. What is a goal? A goal is a desired result that a person plans and commits to achieve. Let's stay there. He said it is a desired result. It is not yet a result, but a desired result that a person plans and commits to achieve. You know, I like emphasizing on word. If you see, there are some words I deliberately emphasize there. Desired result. Then the second one is plan. That is, whatever you want, that you desire, you have to plan it. When you want it, you plan it. When you want it, you plan it. When you want it, you plan it. So, he said when you plan it, then you have to commit to what you have planned. You have to commit to what you have planned in order for you to achieve it. So, it's a very simple principle. If you have it in your mind, you have a plan for it, and then you commit to that plan, it is inevitable you will get the result. It's that simple. Let's practicalize it. Every single one of us, we knew we were going to be in church this morning. Am I right? That's a plan. That's a goal, that you have to be in church this morning. So if you know you were going to be in church this morning, some of us last night, you started thinking about the clothes you are going to wear. Some of us this morning, you started thinking about the clothes you're going to wear. Some of us, even before we left home, we started planning, am I going to trek? What time will I leave home? Am I going to drive? Am I going to take Uber? You understand me? All those things you are doing is called planning. So what am I trying to say in essence? Unconsciously, every single one of us, we go into planning. Unconsciously. Now try to look at it if I deliberately sit down to say, I want to plan this thing. It's a deliberate thing. Now I want to deliberately sit down to say, I want to plan this thing. So, a goal is a desired result that the person plans and commits to achieve. Next slide, please. So if we're talking about goal setting simply means goal plus plan. So if we're saying goal setting, it means goal plus plan. So you need to have a goal, you need to have plan attached to it. If there's a goal, you have a plan attached to it. There's a goal, you have a plan attached to it. That's why when you're about to start business, they will tell you you need to have a business plan. What is that business plan? It is your roadmap, your compass that shows you the kind of business you want to build and where you want the business to be. So it is a deliberate thing that we must do. If you look at that word that I emphasize, I say a goal without a plan is just a wish. And that's what a lot of us do. I am very sorry, with all due respect, I have to say this. Even if you fast and pray all night, God is a God of plan. That's why I had to emphasize it when we were starting. That listen, God expects you that as a human being, you have to plan. So anytime you are thinking of something and there is no plan of how to achieve it, it's just a wish. It's just a wish. I used to say this, when me and my friends, when we were growing up and we got involved in some things at our early age, as like 17, 18, so we used to boast to ourselves, before I turn 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. Before I turn 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. Before I turn 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. So we were working at it. But we never knew that what we were saying is just a wishful thinking. Because there was no plan of how to become that millionaire. We just thought because of what we are doing, automatically the thing should convert to money and should make you a millionaire. It doesn't happen that way. So by the time I turned 30, I was still extremely broke. Even more broke than when I said it when I was 17. Yes. But when that realization came to me, it cost less than 1 year for me to make my first million. Because the realization came to me. And that's how I plan everything that I do. You understand me? For example, I was talking to some of my mentees last week. And in that discussion, they were asking me, say, Fred, if we need to raise, like, say, 1 million to 5 million, how do we do that? And I pull a board in front of them. I say, okay, so let's sit down and think of how we can raise 1 million to 5 million. I said, so first write one person to give you 1 million naira. 2 persons to give you 500,000. 10 persons to give you 100,000 each. If you can get 1 million people to give you 1 naira each, what does it become? It's 1 million. I said, you know what we have done? We have just simply broken down how you can raise this money. So that you are looking at it as 1 million. It looks very big. But when you break it down to the smallest, it looks very small. You realize that that small part of it is passing through your hand every single day. But because your eyes is just focused on the big one alone, you are not even seeing the small one that is passing through your hand. Why? I say what we have simply done is that we have found this money. This is the goal. So if, for example, now you have good network of people around you, you can raise this 1 million in less than 6 months to 1 year if you want to raise it. The ball is in your court. So what are we trying to say in essence? Goal setting is goal plus plan. If there is no plan, it is a wishful thinking. Next slide, please. Then what is goal setting? This involves the development of action plan. Not just plan, action plan. What you are supposed to do. Action plan, what you are supposed to do. Designed to motivate you and guide you towards your goal. Designed to motivate you and guide you towards your goal. You understand? Development of action plan. Meaning that when we say action plan, something you have to do almost immediately. You know, like I was emphasizing for the case study I used earlier, they were trying to raise money for a project. So when we broke it down that way, and I told them, and I said, now let's look at your phone contacts. I said, in your phone contacts, let's look at who are those that can give you 1 million. Who are those that can give you 500,000? Who are those that can give you 250? Who are those that can give you 100? Who are those that can give you 10,000? Who are those that can give you 1,000? Write their name against those figures. And they did that. I said, now, I need you to do something. I said, look at the smallest one there. I said, one of you pick your phone and call that person that you have the name of that person against it. The least one of them had was 5,000. I said, so call that person. I say, hey, hello, friend. I need to do something very urgently. Can you please give me 5,000 naira? And that person sat down there in less than 30 minutes, raised close to almost 40,000. He said, is this easy? I said, yeah, it is that easy. Why? Because most time we don't have action plan. Most time we don't have action plan. The action plan designed to motivate. It must motivate you. Not something you are afraid to do. The goal can be something you are afraid. You know, when it is too big, it has to be bigger than you. That's why we call it vision. And we say we break vision down into goals. You understand me? But we're looking at goal setting now. So if the goal can be very big. But the action plan is what will motivate you and make the goal look very simple for you to achieve. So the goal will motivate you and guide you so that you are not walking in distractions. You know, a lot of us, we don't know how to say no to some things. Anything come our way, we just jump on it. Anything come our way, we say, this is an opportunity for me to, let me jump on this one. You don't even ask yourself whether what you are jumping on aligns with what you want for yourself. You understand me? It must align. You know, like I was telling some of my friends, I said, if you don't buy into my own vision and my own goal, I'm not interested in whatever you are doing. Let's do what I'm doing. This one too has capacity. That one too has capacity. But let's focus on the one I am sure of. I'm not sure of your own yet. You understand me? So it should guide you towards your goal. Guide means that You know where you're going. It's like when you take Uber now. You already plug in the address of where you are going on your phone. And you can monitor. You can even share that ride with somebody, and the person can monitor as the car is moving. So you realize that except you tell the Uber driver to say, let me stop at so place, it won't stop. His own is to be driving to that location. So there is no distraction when you have an action plan. The action plan motivates you and guides you. Next slide, please. Next slide. 7 areas of goal setting. Because when we're talking about goal setting, you must have a balanced life. You must have a balanced life. Every single area of that 7 areas are interwoven. You can't do one and leave one. And that is why I always tell people, if we are talking about goal setting, you need a diary. If you cannot get a diary, you need a notebook. If you cannot get a notebook, you have electronic pad on your phone, because it's a lot of work. It's not just something you just say, I keep somewhere. It's a lot of work that you must follow at every given point. It is like your life, your entire life depends on what you are doing. So 7 areas of goal setting. That's why we call it the wheel of life. And that is you in the middle. What does a wheel do? A wheel makes it easy for something to move. It gives it what we call balance. You understand me? So 7 areas. The first area is your career. It's not arranged in any order of priority. Don't let us get it wrong. You have the right to decide which area is priority to you. It's not arranged in any order of priority. You know which area is priority to you. Then say person will wear shoe. Now you know where the shoe they pay them. So career is the first one there. The second one is financial. The third one is spiritual. The fourth one is physical. The fifth one there is intellectual. The seventh one is family. The sixth one is family. And the last one is social. So all these areas are areas you have to set goal around. Your career, if you are in a job for 1 year and you have not gotten a promotion, there's a problem. It means that there is no career goal. You are just moving. And that's what a lot of us do. We just go to work. Our own is just let me earn the salary. And then you are in your closet. You are praying that God, I need my salary increase. It's a simple principle. For your salary to increase, you must have promotion. For you to have promotion, you must do more than what you are doing in where you are right now. I don't know if I'm making sense. Am I making sense? So you must look at your career life. In 1 year, have I experienced any significant change? You must even look at where you are, the place where you work. Does it give you room for growth? Is it challenging enough that when you look at yourself, you can say, this is where my mates are. This one is challenging enough and will take me to where I want to be. If it's not challenging enough, then that means you need to set a career goal in that direction. It must be challenging. Anywhere you are that you are a local champion, there's a problem. You can't be the local champion. You can't be the one who knows it all. Except if, for example, now, if you are Dangote now, the richest in Africa, he's a local champion in Africa. I hope we know. If he gets to the US now, he's learning where Mark Zuckerberg is. Everything that Dangote has put together, refinery here, fertilizer here, cement here and there, everything that he has put together, that's what made him the richest in Africa. That Mark Zuckerberg, only software, and the guy sat down. You understand me? So what we are trying to say in essence is that, oh boy, you are not there yet. There's still somebody that is ahead of you. So there must be room for you to know that in my career, what is my developmental growth? What am I planning for? Where am I going? Where do I see myself in the next 2 years? Where do I see myself in the next 1 year? Where do I see myself in the next 6 months? Where do I see myself in the next 3 months? It's very important. It's very important. So the second one is financial. You will see, I said each and every one of them is interwoven. If you set career goal for yourself, you must set financial goal for yourself. How much do I want to make? We were in a meeting on Friday with my team in my office, and I was telling them, I said, please forgive me if I am sounding like a broken record. It is that moment when I'm sounding like a broken record, that is when you are just understanding what I'm saying. I say, yes, we are nowhere close. We are not even 0.1% close. But in my head, 5 million naira monthly must come into this organization. That's the starting point. I said, I don't know how we are going to do it. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. So if you don't have a figure in your head, there's a problem. You must have a figure in your head at every given point in time. I used to say this, like in a class. I said, when did you hear that Dangote started building refinery? At least I heard like 7 years ago. That's 7 years ago when they published it in the newspaper. They published how much the refinery is going to be producing. So it's easier for Dangote to calculate how much he's going to be making. That is even before the refinery started. You must be working with figures. You can't just say, I'm working. No. There must be figures in your head. Or else you will not get to where you are going. So you must set financial goal. You may not get there in 1 year. You may not get there in 2 years. You may not get there in 3 years. But eventually when you get there, you set another one. You push yourself forward. That's how to move. Because all these things, we may not have enough time for me to go into that deeply. All these things has a mental repercussion. It even affects the way you behave. It affects the way you talk. It affects the people you relate with. You will start thinking differently. Because if you set, let's say for example, you work in an organization, XYZ organization, and you set a career goal for your, a financial goal for yourself that I want to make 3 million naira every month. You now begin to ask yourself, I beg, you go to somebody like Pastor Kenny, which organization or which industry can I be where I can be making 3 million naira a month? So if you are working in a law firm, where it is just you and your barrister alone, there is no way 3 million naira can come to meet you there. So it might need that, auntie or sister, you have to change your location to ExxonMobil. So it's important that you put that into consideration. Your financial goal. Then your spiritual growth. It cannot be overemphasized. Thank God for the church where we are. It cannot be overemphasized. I trust Bishop. If you are not ready, we'll drag you into it in that area. But that's for the corporate goal. You must have your own personal goal. What's your own personal spiritual growth? You can't remain the same year in, year out. If you are not experiencing growth in your spiritual life as a believer, there's a problem. I always tell people, when you say, I don't want to be a worker, I don't want to join the warfare, I just want to come and do my prayer and go. And you expect God to perform extraordinary workers' miracle in your own life. It's not possible now. It's not possible. How you want to hand the money that you did not work for? You are working in an organization, even in the spiritual body, you don't know. So you must keep growing also. Because that seat you are sitting on, even you as an individual, maybe there are 10,000 people tied to you just writing Jesus saves on your Facebook status alone. Some of us don't know. There's this guy's story I saw some years back on social media. The guy gave his life to Christ. I think probably he was a Muslim but he eventually gave his life to Christ. So he was on fire for evangelism and all that. So he had to go to nations where Christianity is not accepted. So even when he comes, they tell him, you cannot preach. You can't do anything. So what did the guy will wear his cap and his shirt. Jesus saves. Jesus saves. Is he preaching? Yes. He's preaching. And he said in an interview, he said that's his own deliberate action in that regard. Say this thing, say, I must talk about it. So what are your own spiritual goals, your own personal life? How do you intend to grow? When some people tell you, I see angel, does it sound like his own video that person is saying? Have you gone in your own closet and say, God, I want to see angels too? When somebody is saying, I'm hearing from God, you are saying, it's when I dream, God will talk to me. It's only when you dream. What if you not dream for 1 year? God will not talk. You understand me? You must begin to look. How does he? He's standing and he's saying he's hearing from God. Does he have his own personal phone line connected to God? No. You must hunger for it also. You must hunger for it also. You know, I'm being honest with you. I look at some men of God. God revealed something to me recently. One night I was looking, I woke up in the middle of the night, so I was watching all these men of God. So consistently, I watch Pastor John Agee, Kenneth Copeland, you know, like 5 of them. They just showed their, I think 30 minutes, this thing like that. So I was just watching it, including Matthew Ashimolowo. And it just dawned on me. I said, look how these men are aging gracefully. Look how they are aging gracefully. They don't need to pray that God help me to live long. Because what they are doing is making them live long ordinarily. It's making them live long. And the moment that thing came on me like this, I just went to the TV. I placed my hand on TV. I said, God, help me to be like this man. That's wishful thinking, you know. You have prayed it, but it's a wishful thinking, you know. You have to now go and sit down and begin to study what they are doing, how they are doing it, what they are supposed to do. You understand me? It's important. So your spiritual goal. Physical also. Your health. Don't just ignore it. Don't just ignore it. Your physical health. You must be interested about it. Not office, AC. Car, AC. House, AC. You will see AC your life. So it's important. You look at that area also. Sometimes when you are supposed to drive, just tell yourself, let me park it, let me walk down. And walk down. You understand me? You have to check your vitals. Thank God we have people like Dr. Moyo here. Check your vitals. Let them. It's not until when church organizes it, that's when you go and check it. At your own personal time, check it. It's important. Look at the foods you are eating. Tell yourself, this is my goal this year. I'm not going to eat anything junk food. It's a deliberate thing you have to do. It's a deliberate thing you have to do. You know, I stopped drinking all this fizzy drink, that's Fanta and Co. I stopped drinking them. And now I realize that each time I go to my office, at the reception, they have like the fridge where the Fanta is chilled. And my friend is the one sitting as the manager there. So once I get there, I sit with him 5 minutes. I say, oh yeah, give me one Fanta there, let me. So, first day, second day, he was becoming, even when I now come, she will say, Mr. Afe, I should give you Fanta. The day she said, I should give you Fanta, I said, yes. When she was bringing, I said, no. So anytime I come, I just say, Oga, well done, sir. I pass. You understand me? Because if you are not deliberate, it will eventually become an habit. It will eventually become so you have to watch your physical life. Intellectual also. Books that you are reading. Some of us, we pass through that bookshelf. Every time we come to church, we have never looked through to say, let me even see one book that I will read. Some of us will say, the least of my worry in this country now is book. No problem. You don't know that sometimes the answer you are looking for is inside that book. It's inside, and you are going about. The answer is inside. You say, my problem plenty. I don't even get head to read book right now. No problem. So you must look at that area of your life also. Then the next one, family. Don't just ignore it. Something even happened yesterday. I know I didn't mention it to my wife. She told me in the morning that she wanted us to go somewhere with my daughter. So in my head, I was already calculating. Go somewhere. You go and sit down now, 2, 3, 4 hours. You are not doing anything. Which kind of life is this one? So I was praying in my mind, say, God, let her just say this thing has passed. That time has gone. Even when we were going, I was asking, have you called the guy? Have you called the guy? Does he know you are calling me? I wanted to be sure. So that if he doesn't know we are coming, where are we going to? Yeah, we know. But I have to be honest with you. It was lovely 1 hour 30 minutes time of yesterday. Even me, I felt refreshed. I have to be honest. So, what I'm trying to say in essence, you are not the only one that is guilty. Forget the fact that I'm holding the mic. Some of them, me too, I'm guilty. Then social life also. Some of us is only church, house, church, house, church, house, church. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should go to club. Sometimes you can hang out. Sometimes you can say, let me go and see a film. Because all these things are interwoven. There are some people, I used to tell my wife, there's one of our friends, Joseph Edgar. The guy does broadcast. But between God and man, I'm not exaggerating. I just perceive that this guy knows virtually everybody in this country. Virtually everybody you can think of in this country. He will send the broadcast of everything he's doing. You will block him. You will unblock him yourself. Because when you block him, you will miss him. I'm telling you. And I'm like, how does he get that energy to do this thing? Anytime you open your phone, he has done broadcast. And this guy is not effective on any social media but except on WhatsApp. And that WhatsApp broadcast alone, I'm not exaggerating. As of last year, if I lose count, I know that the guy raised close to almost 150 million from his contact on WhatsApp alone. Why me and you now, we are still fighting? I want to do Instagram. I want to do Twitter. I want to do this. But that guy recognizes what it means to have social relationship with people. Sometimes he comes, I'm giving 3 people afang soup in so-so restaurant. This person join me. And you would think people will not respond though. He will snap the picture of people that responded. He will post it for you there. So that even you, when he says something, you are controlling yourself not to respond. Say, I'm interested. I'm telling you. So all these things are interwoven. So quickly, let's just look at the next slide. Because if we look at all of them now, this is just a simple template. When you look at all the 7 of them, the team, I can say career goal to secure a job in oil and gas firm in the next 6 months. That's the goal. Like I said, it may not happen in 6 months. To earn 5 million monthly, 9 months. I'm replicating what I told you. To read the entire Bible in 1 year, there's a plan for it. You understand me if you have not done it before. To stay healthy all year round. To read 50 books this year. It is possible. It is doable. To create more family time for bonding all year round. To network with 10 high network individuals in the next 6 months. You do it yourself. It's important. It's possible. You understand me? So you have to have something like this that you have created for yourself. You have something like this that shows what you want to achieve. Because all this one, the theme in the middle becomes the goal. That's why I say you must have a book for it. Not something that you put one place, you will throw it away. But when you have a book that you open all the time, even opening it all the time naturally start bringing you to what you are supposed to do. Then the next slide. You now pick one. You pick that first one, that career now, what I need to do. You know, you said in career, I need to get a job in the next 6 months. In oil and gas, what I need to do. You know, minimum of 10. You can push to 20. It is a brain work. It is brain work. It is brain work. So you put a book and a pen in front of you and you start asking yourself, how do I get a job in oil and gas company? What do I need to do? That's why I said number one, I have to rewrite my CV. Let me look at my CV and see if my CV complements somebody that can get a job in a oil and gas firm. I said number two, I have to highlight and send my CV to oil and gas firm. I'm just writing down as it's coming to my head. Oh, you understand me? Just, because when you sit down to deliberate on something, the answer comes to you. First it's going to be difficult, but as you focus energy on it, it will start coming, And I said, thirdly, get a second degree. I said, fourthly, get a certification. I said, fifth, network with oil and gas CEOs on LinkedIn and send them my CV. Inform Pastor Kenny of any oil and gas opening. He's a career professional. You understand me? That's just 6. So you just keep writing down as it's coming to you. It can take you a day. It can take you 2 days. It can take you 3 days. You just keep writing down. Then as you write down, next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is the next slide. So the next slide, you have written it down in that first one. So this next slide now, you rearrange in the order of simple to the hardest. You rearrange in the order of the simple to the hardest. So you don't just jump into it. You are looking at which ones are the most easiest one that I can easily do. Because some of them will take a long time. Some of them you can do almost immediately. You understand me? So if I rearrange now, I can say, I rearrange to rewrite my CV. I can easily do that. I can open my system this afternoon and say, let me look at my CV. Or I can send it to somebody that I know that can review my CV and say, help me review my CV. Then inform Pastor Kenny of any oil and gas company. I can leave church this afternoon and say, Pastor Kenny, please, I'm looking for, because there's an opening in oil and gas company, please send them to me. That's easy. Network with oil and gas CEO on LinkedIn and send them my CV. That's also easy. Then I light and send my CV to oil and gas firm. Get a certification, get a degree. So all this now, you now begin to look at them one after the other also. What you have just done here, you have rearranged your thoughts from the easiest to the hardest. That's what you have done. Then next slide, please. So you have another sheet like this. If you need these sheets, you can always send us a message on our WhatsApp platform. Or maybe later in the day, I will drop the template in that place. It's a template. It's more than this. I can drop the template on it. So the feedback, rewrite my CV, done. Meaning I've done it. Inform Pastor Kenny of any oil and gas opening. He said he will add me to the career platform and also send out my CV. You understand me? Because you must have your feedback. Your feedback will determine what you need to do next. It's your feedback that will help you determine what you need to do next. So if we're looking at goal setting and planning, this is the simplest way you can do it. And this we have only done for career alone. When you do that of career, you do that of spiritual, you do that of financial, you do that of physical, you do social, you do all others like that. That's why you need a notebook. Because with time, the feedback can also change. You understand me? Once you do this, it's easier for you to achieve anything you want to achieve in life. And of course, you having the God factor added to it, it will easily break a protocol for you and open door for you. I think that's where we end. That's the last slide. So do we have any question? We'll just take like 2 or 3 questions.
Good morning, Pastor. Thank you very much for such an insightful session. So I just have one question. When you are actually speaking on the kind of friends and the circles you are trying to build, or your networks, so to say, you made mention of, you emphasize on, you can be my friend, you cannot be my friend, and then you are not interested in what I do. Now, you made a comment. You said, yes, you are my friend, but we have to look first. So, are you not sort of creating, would I call it biasness, so to say, that, oh, because I am your friend, then I have to look at what you are doing first? Shouldn't there be sort of an agreement or a consensus where of you would have to maybe discuss and then plan out things, or must it be yours first before the other person?
Okay.
In order not to maybe sound selfish or something like that.
You are very correct when you say, must it be mine or the other person? You are right. But if you realize, I will answer that question with this story. There are 2 friends, Paul and Peter. Paul wanted to be a footballer, and Peter wanted to be a doctor. So both of them were in school. And every day, Paul would call Peter, let's go to the field and play ball. And they go to the field and play ball. Let's go to the field and play ball. They will go to the field and play ball. Eventually, when they were going to graduate, both of them failed. And Paul was eventually taken by a professional club. And Peter had to go start all over again. You understand me? When you are with people, you must clearly define what you want for yourself. It's important. That you are my friends doesn't mean you have to work on my project. Don't get me wrong. Or that doesn't mean I don't have to work on your project. But most time you realize that when we are in the adventurous age is between the age 0 and age 30. That's the age where too many unnecessary things start coming to you. You understand me? Like, for example, maybe a Dotun can come now and say, oh, mobile app is the one selling now. I'm trying to design one mobile app. Alfred, let's sit down and design this mobile app and make money from it. I need to look at my own goal. That does it complement mobile app? Did I say I want to do anything that is relating to mobile app? I don't know if you understand me. I can advise him. I can help him in one way or the other on the mobile app. But I don't have to jump on the vision to run a mobile app with him. You understand me? Now, if you realize human being the way we are configured, if I come to share my problem with Pastor Tunde now, if we are friends, instead of helping me solve my problem, he naturally shares his own problem with me too. I don't know if you have seen that. You are trying to tell him that, this is what I'm going through. Instead of that person telling you, see. He will now be telling you his own problem that is similar to that one too. You understand me? So you realize that eventually you don't find solution in that discussion, at that moment. You understand me? So it's important that in such a meeting, I've come to the point where if we are discussing like that, I say, please hold on. I want to listen to you, but I need you to tell me, what do you think I should do in this regard? That's what I'm trying to say in essence. You understand me? What do you think I should do in this regard? So that we don't complicate issues. The same way, when I say friend, like what I'm saying, like for example, a friend of mine came to me at the beginning of the year, last year, not this year, last year. And he said, Fred, so what is it for this year? This is what I have in plan. I want to start doing some short videos for YouTubes and all that, blah, 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 blah. And I know you are a very creative person. You can do the script for me. I will do the shooting and all that. I said, oh, God, hold on. I don't have time for scripting now. Scripting is going to take a long way. I said then, what is your strategy of making money from these YouTube videos? How long is it going to take you? Do you have a plan on it? And when he explained, I'm not seeing something so realistic from it. I say, Oga, come. Before we do this YouTube now, let's look at the one I have on the table. I don't know if you're getting my point. Let's look at this one. So if we are to do YouTube, let's do this one. I am sure of this one. If you know you want to make money, let's think of how we are going to make money from this. Because sometimes you must understand that if you don't influence, people influences you. And you go with them in whatever direction they are going. So you have to be firm on your influence or what you want. We don't have time on our side. And you leave him now. You leave him. It's not by fault that the person must get on your team. I don't know if you're getting my point. If what he wants to do does not align with your own, there are some people, we are friends. You understand me? But we don't do things together. But we come on another common ground. We are just friends on that common ground. But there are some friends that, we share ideas, ideology. This is where we are going. This is what we intend to do. This is what we intend to achieve. You understand me? I have a friend. Bishop also know that friend. My wife know that friend. This guy is, when somebody asks me, Fred, who is your friend? Apart from, say, my wife now. Say, who is your friend on earth? I will call his name. You understand me? But I'm not his own best friend. I don't know if you are getting me. He has another best friend. I'm not his own best. But for me, he's my best friend. And he's my best friend in what regard? When I share idea with him, he has strategies, process, blah, 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 how you are going to do it, how you run about it. He has a way of motivating you that you will start doing it. Me, I'm a motivator, but they learn when it comes to motivating. He will push you until you start doing that thing. That's why me, I had him as my own friend in that regard. You understand me? But when it comes to execution, he's not my friend in execution. Because he can talk, but he doesn't execute. He likes being at the background. Go and do. So when it comes to, we want to execute, I don't even involve him in execution. But I have one, Godwin. He's not as intelligent as him. But him is like a bullet. If you don't fire him, you don't fire. They come back. Once you just tell him you want to do, before you blink like this, he don't start to do that thing. So in that area, I work with him in that area. I don't know if you get my point. So you must be able to align yourself, judging where you are going with the people that are around you. One last question and we'll call it a day.
Thank you, sir. Praise God. So my question is, if after following these processes and unfortunately somebody is still seeing that it's not working, maybe this CV now, the CV example, you've tried to align your CV and then you are sending and you're not really getting a positive feedback and you're beginning to get weary. So in that situation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like when we say sending CV and you are not getting the results that you want, you must also understand two things I'm going to explain. One, it's normal for you to get weary. That's why I said the life of an entrepreneur is different. We get weary, we motivate ourselves, we stand up. But like they say, even an eagle needs a push. So you must have people around you that can be like a motivation. I'm not exaggerating. If I'm at a place where I'm a bit depressed about all I'm doing when it relates to my business, I call Val. The reason why I call him, I just want him to repeat those things he always repeat to me again. Fred, when you do it like this, it will be this, it will be that, it will be this. My spirit will high again. Say, let me go and attack this thing again. Because you need reassurance. It's not going to happen overnight. You understand me? You just have to keep at it. But I can guarantee that if you keep at it, eventually you break through. Then secondly, that I'm going to explain in that regard. When you say, I sent my CV, you also have to, look at the feedback. When you send your CVs out, you are not getting response. You need to look at somebody that is like your mentor on your career path. Why am I not getting results? Maybe probably there are some professional courses you need to go and do. You understand me? Maybe probably you need to get a second degree. Or maybe there's something you are not highlighting on your CV that you need to highlight. I'm going to give an instance. A lady walked into my office and she said she's looking for a job. She said, any job. I said, we don't have any job here. You have to know the job you are looking for. He said, no, the condition of Nigeria, just any job. I said, there's no condition on Nigeria in this world. It's outside this world. But inside this world, there's no condition of Nigeria. What job are you looking for? What is your career path? So ordinarily, she doesn't even understand what I mean by career path. When I looked at her CV, I realized that she has worked here, she has worked here, she has worked here, 6 months here, 1 year here, 3 months here. I said, you have worked in plenty places, you have not done anything in life. Why? There is no employer that will employ you with this CV. Because no employer will trust you that you will stay long with them. But if I see your CV and I see where you've been, 2 years, 3 years, I know that, okay, at least for the next 2 years, this person is going to be with me. You understand me? So we started looking at that area. I now asked her, I said, what do you want for yourself? You now realize that that person that was saying just any job wants job in a financial institution. And he's saying just any job. I said, so which financial institution have you gone to? He said, I've gone everywhere. I said, now you're going to do your CV again and start going to drop in financial institution. I say, I want to volunteer my time for 6 months for free. Give me anything to do in this space. For 6 months, for free. And she started going around. And one eventually called her, said, for free, hey, we are looking for somebody. She got in there. She called me, said, Mr. Alfred, they gave me something here for free. I said, awesome, fantastic. I said, now, that place where they gave you for free, work like they are paying you the highest there. Work in such a way that if you want to leave after 6 months, they will say, no, this person cannot leave. And so she was doing, it wasn't even up to 6 months. By the time it was the 3rd or the 4th month, they called her and said, you can't be working for free. How do you pay transportation? How do you do this? How do you do that? And they placed her on salary. And then from there now, she has moved to another place. You understand me? So it's that consistency and persistence that changes the game. So I believe this is not a message that we now say we want to pray about it. But Notwithstanding, let us bow down.